Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. In today's video, we'll be discussing another possible negative thing at Paris Saint-Germain at the moment, because we recently got some breaking reports which do not look that great. Let's jump straight into it. In Doha, we've been watching the situation of PSG with a pronounced disinterest since the 2022 World Cup. There is a detachment. Some sources close to the Emir assure that he will be a seller in the event of a good offer. So they're basically saying here, and it doesn't sound that illogical, that Qatar have lost interest in Paris Saint-Germain because one main factor for them was the 22 World Cup. I mean, we will get into the rebuttal of all of these reports, but that's basically what they're saying, which, doesn't sound that illogical. And then they're saying that the Emir would be a seller in event of a good offer. Again, we'll come to a rebuttal of that. For a little over a year, PSG's lost Jean-Claude Blanc, number 2, Cynthia Marco, Mark Armstrong, a revenue manager, and Nicolas Arndt, the one from the ticket office. And obviously, these are a lot of negative departures from Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think we've really replaced. I think one of these replacements was Johan Kabay, who has absolutely no experience, just, a previous PSG player that has a great relationship with Nasser. So I don't really know how we replace these people that have left, but obviously it will always be a bit negative when people that have been impactful leave the club. Some club sponsors want to renegotiate their contract downwards. This is the case of Visit Rwanda. Others left like Crypto.com. The Go brand retired this summer. The new partner Snipes arrived for a deal lower than 4 million euros. And obviously, once again, this sounds logical. When you have Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar, sponsors want to sponsor you really highly. When they leave, obviously those sponsors look at you differently. This is completely logical. They're talking about the Go brand. The Go brand only signed for us when we had Messi, and then they left when Messi left. So Goat was basically a Messi sponsor at PSG. They're saying Crypto.com left as well, and Visit Rwanda want to renegotiate and everything. And all of this sounds logical. The activity of the PSG shops has greatly decreased. That of the shops accustomed to revenues of 100k per day hardly reaches 10,000 per day today. I don't really know if it's that low, but again, this sounds logical as well. Just the interest, player sales, player shirt sales, all of that has dropped down, which is negative news. The players are no longer exciting, which has the consequences of affecting other areas of the club, such as ticketing, merchandising, sponsorship with social networks. And once again, to finish this off, yes, this is all correct. And all of this has to do with the main departure of Kylian Mbappe, Neymar Jr., and Lionel Messi. Not that much of Mbappe. It was mostly Neymar Jr., especially Lionel Messi. They brought in so much marketability. For example, the Jordan deal, we also got a report previously about that they might leave after next season. And they came when Neymar came. So there's so many brand deals that came when Neymar came or when Messi came and now are departing now that those players have left. But what is the main reason? Because there is a void. Yes, we've lost these players. For example, Madrid, they've lost Ronaldo, but then they get another one. They get Vinny, they get Mbappe. We need to replace our superstars with either future superstars or superstars already. And obviously, the main blame here goes to Nasser Khalifi, Luis Enrique, and Luis Campos. All of them have been a huge factor in this situation. Luis Campos, he only wants young players to sign to Paris Saint-Germain, and the big players he's went after, he's failed to sign. Kvaratskhelia, Harry Kane, Julian Alvarez, the list goes on and on. He's been a complete failure in terms of bringing in players that can be marketable, apart from Kangin Lee, but, that was a cheeky one. Luis Enrique, he's obviously been a main factor. He's also, in this kids program with Luis Campos, and he doesn't really want personalities, and older, more experienced marketing players are usually, those kinds of players, and we know Luis Enrique, at least half of those kinds of players he wouldn't want at PSG. So he's also been a stumbling block, and obviously lost in Nasser Khalifi. Whenever we've signed a bling-bling player, he's always been involved in some kind of matter. Messi, Neymar, all of these deals. And I mean, ever since the Mbappe extension, Nasser really hasn't done anything, especially in the transfer market, apart from when he signed Dembele, Lucas Hernandez, and Randal Colomani. But none of them are, of that marketability stature. But now let's come into a rebuttal, because we have some other reports. QSI does not plan to disengage from PSG. On the side of the principal palace, we follow the daily life of PSG with a detachment, knowing that only the big transfers, Messi, etc., or the strategic decisions to go up to the Emir decision will come from Al Khalifi. So they're saying here that, yes, Qatar are not into working that much with PSG, but owning it, they want to keep owning it. It's just that Nasser Khalifi has even more power than he used to have. that because Qatar have detached themselves a bit from it. Doesn't mean they want to sell it. Does they mean they strictly see it as an investment? Absolutely no. So here's the rebuttal to those reports. There's another one here. PSG announces their forecast budget up 5% compared to last season. Demand remain strong for ticketing. Jersey sales remain at a high level. Club denies visit Rwanda contract to be cut by 50%. So even denying here the Rwanda news. One thing we know though from Paris Saint-Germain, especially with Nasser, where he came out and said yesterday, is that there was a lot of lying. There was a lot of, covering up the negative stuff at the club because we want to lie and say it's all positive. But I don't think it's as bad as those earlier reports we read out. And even Abdallah Bulma, he was also on Twitter about the situation. This was his response. No sales on my side. It's quite the opposite. They plan to invest in a new stadium and have just committed over 350 million to the campus. We'll actually come back to this soon. Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain, if we look at the revenue from the 2022-2023 season, 801.8 million euros, which is the third highest among all clubs in world football. Obviously, this was, the last season of M&M, so we still don't know the post Neymar Messi effect and the post Mbappe effect as well. So we'll have to wait for the new numbers to come out. Paris Saint-Germain is obviously the 7th most expensive club with 4.4 billion worth. And obviously we have gone up so much. I think before we got Neymar, it was like 1.8 billion. So we have grown so much. We're by far the fastest growing club in the world. We just have to keep that going. And obviously all these reports about them wanting to sell. The Emir of Qatar, basically Qatar National Bank, has a market cap of 43.26 billion. I don't think they're looking that much into selling Paris Saint-Germain, and that money wouldn't really be that helpful for QSI. There's a reason they bought Paris Saint-Germain from the get-go. And even Paris Saint-Germain sold, obviously, some parts of their ownership to Arctur Acquire. I think they got around 12% of the club, but a lot of that was for the renovation, for the new upcoming stadium and all of that. So there are no clear signs that Paris Saint-Germain want to sell, that QSI want to sell Paris Saint-Germain. So I don't think we have to be worried about that. Do we have to be worried about the lowering in revenue? 100%. But this Qatar stuff, obviously, we will follow it. We'll obviously follow it always, but I'm not looking that big into it. And obviously what Abdallah Bulma mentioned, Paris Saint-Germain obviously looking to build a complete brand new stadium. In the beginning, they wanted to renovate the Parc des Princes for like 600 million to 1 billion. But obviously that didn't happen. Now we're looking to build a stadium, which will cost way more. And as he also mentioned, we just renovated and built a completely new campus for 350 million euros. So the investments from QSI show clearly that they're here for the long run, that it's not just, oh, the Qatar 22 World Cup happened and now it's over. So I don't like to look at these reports too much. But one thing we have to talk about is the revenue issue, because that's a clear issue that we still haven't figured out. So Neymar Messi left. We didn't sign, a superstar to take their place in terms of marketability. And Mbappe left last summer and we didn't get anyone, both on and off the pitch. And we look here in the revenue for top 5 leagues. Ligue 1, by far the lowest, which means Paris Saint-Germain does not get that much money from the revenue. Even La Liga isn't that high, but obviously Madrid and Barca take way bigger share compared to the average in La Liga. So if we have to compete against these big clubs, it's simple. Paris Saint-Germain have to generate revenue from different places apart from the revenue they get from the league and the TV and ticket prices and all of that. So a new stadium, that will obviously help our revenue a lot, but getting big players, marketability, and I'm looking at these 5 players for the next summer: Mohamed Salah, Erling Braut Haaland, Rafael Leao, Kvicek Kvaratskhelia, Rodrigo. One of these names, or 2. I would say we need 2. Especially there in attack, how it's been this season. Give me 2 of these players. That will definitely add up the marketability. But we can't forget, Paris Saint-Germain have a very young team. And the more, they grow older, the marketability with all of those players will grow up and rise up as well. The better Paris Saint-Germain performs as well in the bigger competitions will also help with the marketability. So it's not just about signing, one superstar or something. It's more about continuing what we're doing, but adding, some great stuff on top of it. If we look at Paris Saint-Germain's yearly revenue from 2013-14 to 2022-23, we can see when Ibra left, it took a bit of dip. Then when Neymar and Mbappe came, it went up a bit. Then when Messi came, it went up. And obviously, we don't know what happened post-Neymar Messi and post-Mbappe yet. But it's a really good graph. I don't think we've lowered that much from that 802. But, that was really great. We have to keep it up and we have to sign big players. And once again, that goes to Luis Enrique, Luis Campos, and Nasser Khalifi. Nasser Khalifi, he loves his bling bling signings. And all of the recent reports about Mohamed Salah is definitely Nasser Khalifi behind the curtains, trying to negotiate that deal. Luis Enrique has to be more open to personalities. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I want this manager gone because, that's another factor when it comes to Lucho. He doesn't want any personalities because he's a complete beta male. But yeah, I would love Lucho to want some experienced players and stop this young age gimmick. And Luis Campos, I mean, I've seen him try for, experience bigger targets and he's always failing. So yeah, hopefully Luis Campos can improve on that in the future. But what basically this season feels like is the 16-17 season. The season Ibra left, obviously we still had Di Maria, Cavani, Verratti, Thiago Silva, but there was no huge superstar. Season after we went for Neymar and Mbappe, and that's what I'm looking for into the season. We have to sign two big attackers. We have to sign these big players to bring the marketability and obviously to improve on the pitch. That's the main factor. Improving on the pitch is obviously way more important, but marketability will help us be, having a great revenue for the upcoming years. So yeah. To basically respond to everything, this QSI want sell PSG, those rumors are very over-exaggerated, but maybe there's a chink in the armor and we'll wait and see what happens. But when it comes to revenue, that is 100% correct. Paris Saint-Germain revenue has obviously dropped and will continue to drop as long as we do not make a reason for it to go up. So hopefully Paris Saint-Germain maybe even do something in January, and obviously the performances on the pitch will also help with the marketability and bringing in new players. That's been it from your boy PSG. If you have any more questions surrounding this entire situation, let me know in the comments down below. That's been it from your boy PSG, and as usual, allez Paris.